sudden I heard lots and lots of noise at the bow of the boat, and there's carnage. Canoes all over the place, people in the water. Oh yeah, there's still somebody in the water there. Oh dear. Oh yeah. I don't know what happened. This is how you get back in a canoe, I think. Well, I don't know what happened, but there seems to be some semblance of order now. Oh, so these. Oh, he's just gone under. Oh, he's come back again. Oh yeah, so he's teaching them to roll, how to come back up if they roll over, I think. All we need now is for a narrowboat to come around the corner, and it will be carnage. I'm not certain I'd want to dump my head under in a canal. As we saw earlier, that guy was standing on a shopping trolley. There could be all sorts under there.
Big day today. Going to get the car from Thrupp, which should be fun. We leave the car somewhere, and then we travel on the boat for a couple of months. This time it's been nearly 3 months, and then I go and get the car, bring it to where the boat is, and then we move on again. And so today's the day that I go and get the car. Always a fun day when I've got to get trains and buses and walk to the car. So the car's in Thrupp. Those of you who've been watching our videos from the start, that's where we started our journey. We started in Thrupp, and we left the car there, and it's been there ever since, so it's not started for 2.5 months. So I'm hoping it's going to start when I get there, so should be fun. Let's hope when I get there the car starts. Oh, and I'm going to Halford's first to get a set of jump leads, just in case I need them when I get to the car. So you can tell we've not had the car for a while. Look at the price of petrol now. Goodness me, that's expensive. Time for the jump leads. Let's hope they've got some. Here we go. Got a 2.2 car, so I think that's what we need. They should do the job if I need them. Hopefully not. Down through the underpass, apparently, underneath the road to get to the station from Halford. So here we go.
So I'm just coming for a cheeky little day out while Michael's gone to get the car. So I've come to Shaw House, which is about a mile away from where we're moored in Newbury on the boat, and built in 1581 and was private residence until 1939, so just when the war broke out. It's been a school, and then it was restored in 2008 and reopened. It's now open to the public. Today there's a sculpture exhibition, so I'm really looking forward to this. So let's go and have a look. It starts as soon as you walk through the door. This is quite nice. These large pencils, or wood, made to look like pencils. As we go down, I see they're doing coffee as well, so I'm sorted. So I've got to go and check in at reception first. So there might be some literature I can get as well, and we'll have a look around the sculptures. I think you can actually buy them, although I'm not going to be doing that. You never know, one of them might take my fancy. Registration was a very simple affair. You just put a tick down, so I'm 1.
Newbury train station, phase 1. Hopefully the train's on time. I'm a bit early actually. Might be time for a coffee. That's my train over there. Apparently there's one a bit earlier, 11:06. So I might just get a jump on this one if I get a lick on. Got my ticket. All should be good. Just thought, better just check if I've got the car keys. Yeah, excellent. Just arrived at Reading. Now I've got to find the platform for the train to Oxford. I've arrived a bit early, so I'm hoping I might get an earlier train with a bit of luck to Oxford, which would be great. And then fingers crossed the car starts when I get to Thrupp. We'll see. So just got to find the train now to, I think it's Manchester, that calls at my stop. Manchester Piccadilly 12:13, platform 8. Nothing sooner, I don't think. Go get a coffee, I think. Coffee time. So woke to some bad news this morning. Son who lives in Berlin is on holiday in Crete at the moment with his girlfriend, and got a text from him this morning to say he was in hospital. Not great news as a parent, as you know. So the first thing to do, what should I do? I worried. I guess that's what we all do as parents, isn't it? So yeah, I was extremely worried. We were worried. Contacted him and asked him what the problem was, and he said he'd been in dreadful pain overnight. So he'd been taken into hospital in Heraklion with really bad back pain. So they'd x-rayed him, and he was waiting for the results of the x-ray. They suspected it was gallstones. He works away, he works abroad, and he's been working in the Far East and the Middle East a lot recently for the last month, and it's been super hot there. And so whether he's been properly hydrated or not, I don't know, but anyway, as every parent does, worried about him, and then eventually I got the news that the x-ray had come back and it was in fact gallstones. They'd given him some painkillers during the night, and that had helped with the pain, and he's now been released from hospital with some painkillers, so relief over. But as you know, as a parent, first thing that happens, everything's going great, you don't necessarily want to hear from your kids all the time. It'd be nice to do that, but they've got their own lives. But then when you hear that they're in hospital, man, it's a worry, isn't it? So anyway, he's good, and he's left hospital now, and he's on the mend, so get well soon, Scott. Right, time to find platform 8 now for my onward train to Manchester. Well, Oxford. It's the Manchester train. Might as well top the phone up with charge whilst I'm here. Jack's given me my script. It's all going well so far. Arg, I'm facing the wrong way.
Just been told to have a wander around. They have got a list, but they're tweaking it at the moment. Oh, and apparently there's a wedding. Shh. There's a wedding in there. She said there's got several weddings on today. Wedding car. Wedding's in that room on the right there. There's an impressive tree. Let's go and have a look at this impressive tree. Oh yes. Oh, that's spectacular. That is spectacular. One of my all-time favourite trees is in the Yorkshire Sculpture Park, and it's very similar to that. Yep, that's impressive. Yeah, that is one impressive tree. Not a bad pad. There's also quite a lot of history with it. It dates back to the English Civil War between 1642 and 1449. And it was believed to be an integral part of the royalist defences. Best known for the legend that in the Second Battle of Newbury, a bullet crashed through the window, narrowly missing King Charles I. And there's a brass plaque in King Charles' room, marks the spot where the panelling was hit by the bullet. It also says that in 1939, so Second World War, it was requisitioned by the army, and air raid shelters were dug in the Rose Garden. And also in 1943, so 2 years before the war ended, 2 German planes dropped some high explosive bombs on Newbury, and lots of the area was destroyed. But I think this obviously survived very well. In 1942, American and Canadian troops were housed here, and they were subsequently to take part in D-Day landings in Normandy in 1944. So yeah, it's been occupied. It was occupied and used throughout the whole of the Second World War.
Jack's been really sweet, and she's put me some stuff in my bag. It's like sending the kids away on holiday, isn't it? I don't know what it is. Small sample. Oh, is that it? 2 biscuits and a piece of chocolate and an apple. Whoa, time for the feast to begin. Yay, made it to Oxford now for the bus to the car. I didn't even get time to finish my huge lunch. Thanks, Jack, for really looking after me. Pulled out all the stops with an apple and 1 piece of chocolate. It's not easy doing this filming carry on for me on my own. I keep having to put my glasses on every time so I can see whether the recording button's been pushed on. It's no good having poor vision. It's not helping the situation. Anyway, I think I'm doing alright. I need the toilet. I might have to sneak into a coffee shop and hope nobody sees me. Nando's should be good for the toilet stop.
We need the leaflet really, so I can go around and have a look and see what each of them are and who designed them. Dangly circles from the trees keep going in the wind and catching the light, and they're very nice. I might go and have a coffee first and then wait for the leaflet to be ready, because I think it will mean a lot more if you've got the details. That's another impressive tree. Look at those trunks. Coffee in hand. And this is the old Elizabethan bakehouse that they've converted into a little cafe. Love the old mullion windows, they're great. And that beautiful old fireplace there.
I'm just crossing over the canal here in Oxford, and Oxford is where the Oxford Canal meets the Thames. So I've got 10 minutes to spare before my bus, so I'll just see if I can wander down here and show you one of the most famous colleges at Oxford University.
We're armed with our list now. So hopefully it's all going to make a bit more sense. So outside to have a look around the rest of the exhibition. So this is called Still Handsome, and it's in copper and steel. Looks very scary. And dare I say, it's £3,800 to buy. Has anybody got a garden that I'd look good in? Please comment below. Rah. So the gentleman that's put the notes together has just come over to me and asked me if he thinks he's got, if I think he's got the exhibition labelled correctly. How should I know? So he's just asked me about 2, which I think the labels do sound correct. He's now said, can I come over to these 3 here and give him my opinion as to whether the labels look right. So that's the gentleman, and I've just given him my analysis of these 3, and based upon the materials that they're constructed in, I think he's got it absolutely right. He said, I did say to him, well, what did the artist say to you? And he said, I didn't understand a word she was saying. So I think he's got these right. That's the easy one, because easiest to analyse, because it says it's cement fondue, glass mosaic, paint and wood, and it's called Awakening Rising. So I think that looks like mosaic on the front to me. This one was described as brass, paint and wood, and that looks like brass, paint and wood to me. So, and that's Awakening Earth. And this one is just a piece of bronze resin, which it is. It's good coming to a sculpture exhibition and getting pulled into making certain the exhibition's being set up properly.
So for those of you that don't know, Oxford University is made up of several colleges scattered in and around the city of Oxford. One of the most famous is Balliol College, which is just down here on the left. So we'll go there and I'll explain a little bit about what Balliol College, well, one of the things that Balliol College is famous, some may say infamous for. So this is Balliol College at Oxford University, and sadly it's closed for the public today. Maybe we can get a sneak inside the doorway. Let's have a look. Get a little look inside there. It's difficult to see much, but there you go. That's Trinity College, which they're transforming at the moment, you can see by the sign. It's just next door to Balliol. This is Balliol College here. So Balliol College is famous because the alumni from Balliol College are Boris Johnson, who is the Prime Minister of England, deposed now, who was voted out recently by his peers, and we're just waiting for the next head of the Conservative Party to be announced between Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss. So we'll see what happens for that. So one of the other famous alumni of Balliol College was Ted Heath, who was the Conservative Prime Minister in the mid-70s, and in 1973 Ted Heath took Britain into the EU. And the other alumni we talked about was Boris Johnson, and Boris Johnson in 2020 took Britain out of the EU. It'd be great to study behind those walls, wouldn't it? Or even hear some of the stories that have gone on behind those walls. Amazing, no doubt. But if those walls could talk, we'd hear some stories. So just down there on the right hand side, the circular building with the ornate dome on top was where we saw the graduation ceremony taking place, and all the Oxford graduates were coming out. It was a wonderful sight to see them all in their robes. So yeah, just check out episode 1 and you should be able to grab some footage of seeing the Oxford graduates. And up there you might be able to see on the edge there's a statue. That statue was put there not many years ago, and on New Year's Eve I'm told that some of the students from Oxford climb up there and put some garb on that statue, some of it not appropriate. So maybe we should come back at New Year's Eve and film what they've put on the statue. Lots of tourist walks going on here. You can get them free in Oxford, and they're really good. We did one when we were here, it was fantastic. So if you ever come to Oxford, I recommend you do one of the free walking tours and fill you in on all the history of the universities and all the rest of the history about Oxford. It's a great place. So now it's a quick sprint back to the bus for me. Looking forward to getting the car and getting back to Jack and Border Reiver.
I've sort of forgotten Michael was going to collect the car. I hope he's doing all right. I've just messaged him to see what the score is, and I think he's just got to Oxford, and he's about to go and get the bus up to Thrupp. So fingers crossed. We're both hoping everything's going to be okay with it. I think it will be. In 1905, Shaw House became the home of the Honourable Mrs. Kathleen Farquhar. She passed away in 1935, a couple of years before the Second World War. And it was her grandsons that owned Shaw House at the time. It was requisitioned by the Army in 1939. It became a school in 1943. It stopped being a school in in the 1990s. Wedding number 1, wedding number 2, wedding number 3, and this is the room where you can dress up. There's even a natty hat. I think it's a bit small. I think it's meant for children to play with. This is the wooden gallery. That is a white eagle. Okay, that's called Narcissus. You need a very large and grand house for that to go in. So this is number 28 and it's by Sophie Marsham. They're made from steel. There are 9 of them, and comment down below if you know what they're called. Nay lad, nay. It's called Jacob. It doesn't say why it's called Jacob, but it is. These next 3 are all by the same artist. These are my favourite, definitely. Wedding number 3, I think, about to come out. Mr. and Mrs. And I think that's wedding number 2 leaving. It's very confusing. You could easily end up in the wrong wedding, I think. Yeah, I think it's very confusing. You could easily end up in the wrong wedding. I think that's 3 weddings taken place while I've been here, and there's another one here already, just waiting around this corner. A bride hiding in the corner, another bride having her photograph taken in front of the house.
Just on the way back to the car now. There it goes. Yay!
Good exhibition, enjoyed it. Definitely got a few favourites. The house is very impressive. It's obviously got a huge history. Very interesting, worth a visit. And it was free. Definitely recommend if you're in Newbury. I've just spotted another impressive tree. Michael will be pleased. I've just heard from Michael, joy of joys. He's got the car, it was there, and it started. Excellent news. I'm just going to wander back into Newbury now.
There it is then. Hassle or pleasure?
Yeah.
Having a car. Having a car and the narrowboat. You saw that the hassle I had to go and get it. Yeah, I made light of it. But to do that 4 or 5 times a year, the cost involved in going, took me more or less all day.
Yeah, it does. It takes you all day because we've moved a considerable distance from when we last had the car. So yeah.
I've just done it again recently, actually.
Yeah.
And that took me 8 hours. And I had to go in and out of London and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, it's a hassle, and we are thinking of selling the car. I just don't know whether we need it. Yeah. We've got to pay, obviously, with a car, like you'll know, if you've got one. We've got to
all the
tax
costs.
and insure it. We have to put fuel in it.
Yeah.
We've got AA cover, recovery service, because I'm worried that if we get back to the car, it doesn't start. Although I got some jump leads this time.
Yeah.
Then it, we've got all those things. So when you tot up the cost of having the car as against having it, when do we use it? I mean, when do we use it?
Well, yeah, and I know other people do it in different ways. Some people move their car every day or every sort of week and catch up with where they are.
Yeah,
I don't think that doesn't work for us in the way that we want to cruise and the way that we do our days and things. So it's a big dilemma, and it's also it's a big cost, or it's a big asset to have sat somewhere.
Yeah, it's just depreciating every day, isn't it? Just sat there.
So
we've got the we use it to go and see friends now and again. We had a couple of nights out in London, didn't it, where we took the car into London.
Yeah. I think also it's good if we need to transport anything big around, because we've got an estate car, and it's got a huge huge boot,
Yeah.
and we can put things in, and it's really easy if we want to move things around.
We bought a new settee recently, which is coming up in a boat tour, which will be coming up in a future episode. And that just stuck out the back of the car. We'd have never got it to car. We could have got it delivered, but getting people to deliver to scenes like this is a slight issue.
Which is very pretty this morning. Very
Although
pretty.
it's a funny story, we did have the shower screen broke one night. Just out of, we were sat having dinner, weren't we? And
shattered
in the middle of nowhere, the shower screen. And I rang our company a couple of days later to get another piece of glass to put in the shower screen, and they delivered it to the boat
to
in
the side
a
of the
bucolic
boat,
setting like this. So this guy walked down the towpath. Did you order some glass? I was, oh, yeah,
really
thanks. So you can get things delivered, and we do seek delivery and stuff coming to people on the cut. But
anyway, so we've still got the dilemma about what we do with the car.
Shall we sell it? Shall we sell it? I don't know.
Oh,
if you
please.
do this, if you ferry your car about, let us know, and give us your opinions on whether you think it's a good idea, whether we should sell it or not. I don't know. We're always open to listening to our viewers. Thanks for watching.
Hope you really enjoyed this video.
Give us a thumbs up.
Give us a thumbs up, absolutely.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.